Hey guys, thank you for coming to my channel. In this video, you'll be learning about phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs start with a verb and end with a preposition or adverb. The verb has a different definition on its own than it has as a phrasal verb. And I just added some definitions in here just in case you guys don't know what prepositions are, as well as adverbs. So prepositions link nouns and pronouns with other words in the sentence, and they give us more info about time, distance, location, and so on. And adverbs describe verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. And I have videos on both prepositions and what they are, and adverbs and what they are. Well, the video is titled Adjectives versus Adverbs, but I still go into detail about adverbs and what they are. So feel free to check that out. So here is some phrasal verbs. We have woke up, take off, slept in, drive through, go over, put down, pick up, set up, look up, keep up, ask around, clean up, turn around, turn off, and throw away. Next, let's use some phrasal verbs in sentences. So example 1 says, if you don't have a pencil, feel free to ask around. And also, what makes this a phrasal verb, because I feel like that phrase alone is kind of confusing, like phrasal verb. It makes you think that it's just one word, but it's a phrase, so it's more than one word. So in example 1, the phrasal verb is ask around. Example 2 says you're walking too slow, I need you to keep up. In example 2, the phrasal verb is keep up. As you can see, it's more than one word, and the verb is keep, and it's followed by the preposition up. Example 3 says trash pickup is every Wednesday at 6 a.m. The phrasal verb is pick up. As you can see, the verb is pick, and it's followed by the preposition up. I meant to put this in the beginning, but I got a little carried away with my editing. So I'll be discussing intransitive phrasal verbs, transitive phrasal verbs, separable phrasal verbs, and inseparable phrasal verbs. Intransitive phrasal verbs. So I'm going to start with the basics, which is intransitive verbs. So let's just start with that. Intransitive verbs are verbs that don't need an object. So example 1 says my dog is barking too loud. And an object is just the person that's receiving the action, while the subject is the person that's doing the action. So as you can see in example 1, there's nobody that's receiving the action. Example 2 says I hear noise in the background. So as I said, an object receives the action. In this example, there's no recipient of the action. Example 3 says I ate this morning. As you can see, there's no object. There's nobody that's receiving the action. Now, if I would have said I ate food this morning, then food would be the object because food would be receiving the action. The food would be being eaten. Now let's discuss intransitive phrasal verbs. And these don't need an object, just like intransitive verbs. So example 1 says I woke up at 6 a.m. this morning. So as you can see, the phrasal verb is woke up, and you also can see that this sentence doesn't have an object because we don't need an object. Example 2 says if you want to know about my reputation, ask around. So as you can see, ask around is the phrasal verb, well, the intransitive phrasal verb to be exact. And as you can also see, there's no object because we don't need an object. Example 3 says the McDonald's drive-thru is open. As you can see, drive-thru is the intransitive phrasal verb. And you can also see that we don't have an object because we don't need an object. Next, we're going to discuss transitive phrasal verbs. But before we do that, we're going to discuss transitive verbs first. So for starters, transitive verbs are verbs that need an object. So example 1 says, I walked to the store. As you can see, store is the object because store is receiving the action. And that's another thing. Sorry, earlier I said that someone has to be receiving the action, but it can be someone or something. It doesn't always have to be a person. Example 2 says I ate dinner last night. So as you can see, the verb is ate and dinner is the object. Dinner is receiving the action because dinner is being eaten. Example 3 says she hit her brother. So hit is the verb and her brother is the object because her brother is receiving the action. Next, I'll be discussing transitive phrasal verbs, and transitive phrasal verbs need an object. So example 1 says, I will pick up my son from school. So the object is my son because he's being picked up from school. He's the recipient of the action, which is pick up. Example 2 says, you need to clean up your room. So the transitive phrasal verb is clean up and the object is room because your room is the recipient of the action. Your room is being cleaned up. Well, hopefully it's being cleaned up. Example 3 says, I will throw away my trash. So the transitive phrasal verb is throw away, and the object is trash because trash is the recipient of the action. The trash is being thrown away. Well, hopefully the trash is being thrown away. Next, we have separable phrasal verbs, and these can be separated, as the name says. Some transitive phrasal verbs can be separated. So example 1 says, I'm about to put my phone down so I can focus on my homework. So the phrasal verb is put down, and as you can see, it's separated by the object. The object is what's receiving the action. Example 2 says, I will clean my room up in the morning. So the phrasal verb is clean up, and as you can see, it's separated by the object, my room. Example 3 says, I'm going to set my new TV up when I get home from work. So the phrasal verb is set up, and as you can see, it's separated in this sentence, and it's separated by the object, my new TV. With inseparable phrasal verbs, the phrase cannot be separated. Intransitive phrasal verbs cannot be separated. Example 1 says the drive-thru is open until midnight. So as you can see, the phrasal verb is one whole phrasal verb and it's not separated. Example 2 says the plane will take off in 20 minutes. As you can see, take off is one whole phrasal verb and it's not separated. Example 3 says I slept in yesterday and missed work. As you can see, slept in is one phrasal verb and it's not separated. Keep in mind that some phrasal verbs have multiple meanings. For example, take off in the sentence, take your shoes off is a separable phrasal verb. But if we're talking about a plane's take off, the phrasal verb is inseparable. Thank you guys for coming. I hope you found this video informative. If you did find this video informative, please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, or all of the above, and I'll see you next time.